Hi from the studio again. Wow, 15 weeks. I'm looking down here because I've got a pile of work out which is a piece from each of the 15 weeks of lockdown art lessons. And I thought this morning, rather than doing another demonstration and adding more jobs for you to start, I'd give you a chance to finish a few things and just have a little review, have a look through what we've done and celebrate what we've achieved in the last, well, more than 15 weeks, but this is the 15th video, which is amazing. Now, one thing I want to say is that it's not important to finish things. Sometimes it's nice to get things finished, but I do have a huge stack of unfinished work. And that's fine, because the important thing is the time that we spend now, because this is all we've got really, isn't it? And if you're enjoying a bit of doing, a bit of making, just a bit of sitting down and being calm and playing with your materials, investigating what things look like and why they look the way they look, and just enjoying the play aspect, that's what's really important. I do understand that at times we want to get things finished. Sometimes somebody's maybe asked us to do a piece of work. I've got that here. This is what I'm going to be carrying on with today after I've done this brief video. I've actually got a commission to do a triple portrait, which I'm really enjoying doing from some photographs. Anyway, I'll have a look through the work of the last 14 videos, 15 plus weeks, and then I'll give you a chance to catch up with a few things maybe that you don't feel you've paid enough attention to or want to dig a little bit more deeply into, and look forward to seeing your offerings this week. So here we are, back in March, where it all started, and that's it. Started off with a bit of mark making and ballpoint pen drawing, exploring different ways of making tonal value. And Fluffy, that was a good week, wasn't it? Drawing teddies. Got some really lovely drawings that week sent to me. So enjoyed that. And Fluffy. And then we moved on to perspective. That was mostly me talking that week, I think, wasn't it? Not a lot of drawing, but useful to look at. After perspective, we did rainbows. Okay. Everybody was painting rainbows and putting them in the windows. They've all got faded by now, have you noticed? Look at the rainbows people have still got in their windows. They're very faded. It's been such a long time. Rainbows in watercolour. And then after rainbows, I started gazing up into the oak tree, and I did various versions of that. That was useful to explore the same subject in different mediums. The watercolour oak tree, the acrylics oak tree, and the oil paint oak tree. Testing colours out, colour mixing. And interestingly, even after it'll be about 10 weeks I suppose now, this paint is mostly dry. There's a little bit there still, it just feels slightly tacky. It does take a long time to dry this water-soluble oil paint. And then, for a bit of light relief, it was playtime, wasn't it? And I said to, just trying to encourage you to, every now and then, play with paintbrushes. I've got a number of bits of card that look like this, which at the end of a painting session I just daub the leftover paint onto. And every now and then I'll take one and begin to make something out of it. Like here you can see I've started to think about this being maybe a window and a vase, a curtain and some flowers. Oh, well, flowers aren't there, they're in my head. I think that could become a finished painting one day. That would be a miracle, wouldn't it? Well, I've got another 4 weeks of July. Then I'm going to take a few weeks off in August, so maybe I'm certainly will pick a few things to get finished. Clouds next. Cloud studies in charcoal. So I'm still exploring a range of different mediums. And after clouds, sorry, just putting that over there. After clouds, the blackbird. Drawing the blackbird and other birds you sent to me. I really enjoyed that week as well. And then bring the sketchbook back. There we go, sketchbook. Because after that, I did this really quick loose drawing of the strawberry plant. That week was, well, I called it flowers, but it just was plant drawing in general. And then combined the blackbird and the plant in a piece of mixed media collage and acrylic paint. And as you see, this is still not finished. It's pretty much at the stage it was left at when I finished the video on it. But it'll be nice to come back to at some point when I've got some time. I do want to get this one resolved. I know where I'm going with that next. Sometimes I know where I'm going, sometimes I don't. And that's why I think it's important not to worry that you've not finished it, something all in one go. And you can start something else and then come back to finish a previous piece of work, because very often that distance in time allows you to understand the piece of work better. Then it can tell you what it wants you to do to it next. You don't always know when you're looking at it all the time. And then last week's water splash painting. I've started to get a few offerings of water splash paintings coming in. That's a really difficult subject, isn't it? Well, I think so. Quite challenging. Shouldn't say difficult, but it is quite a challenging subject. So we've covered a lot of different things, and as I say, there's something I must show you. I had this lovely present. It was my birthday in June, and my son and his family put together this great present. I've really enjoyed doing this, and I've never really been into colouring in. I understand that people find it a very calming activity to do, and when they put this together, obviously my daughter-in-law said she wanted to encourage me to learn something new. How cute is that? So what they did, they've been saving up my granddaughter's drawings, and she's digitised them and printed them on this special paper and bound them in a book, and given me all these pens to do some colouring in. So let me just show you a few. These lovely drawings of different characters and things she's made up, I think she looks at pictures and copies them quite carefully. She's only 8. Anyway, so this is my response to her drawing. Such fun to do this. I've got lots more to do. Aren't they great? Oh, here we are. This is the last one I did. I just finished doing this. This is actually, it was a drawing of one of her teddies, and she described it to me. We actually discussed this one. What they're doing is they won't tell me what the colours should be until I've coloured them, and then they send me the original of Milana's drawing. So anyway, she told me how, we discussed how this one could be coloured in, and she said, I was asking about this starfish and that it was above the cat mermaid's head. And she said, well, it could be at the edge of the water, and so you could have the sand at the top, which I thought was a really amazing way for an 8-year-old to perceive. This is, I'll show you. Anyway, that's how it started off. So when she said you could put the sound at the top, I thought, wow, that's a really interesting way to look at that. It's like we're looking down from slightly above. Anyway, that was fun. So, what was I going to say? Oh gosh, what was I going to say? Finishing things. Oh yes. So there are 4 more, well, 3 after this, weeks of videos. And then during August, I've sort of got a plan in my mind of something that you might like to do. So I'll tell you about that next week, but just to give you a little clue, it could be to do with this sheaf of work that some people might recognise. Okay. Oh, just a face. What do you think? The things I keep. See you next time.